There are things you don't tell your father, not because you're scared of him, not because your relationship isn't close. Some things are just yours. They exist in a space that's all yours. You're not ready to talk about them. You're not ready to have someone thoughts and feelings about them. You have to deal with your feelings and then manage theirs too. I kept something from my father for a time, not because I was being dishonest. I needed to keep it private. I needed to understand it myself before sharing it. I needed to have my thoughts and feelings about it before my father saw it. Had his own thoughts and feelings. My father is someone whose opinion matters to me. He understands me in a way that's important. His opinion has weight. I don't always show how much his opinion affects me, because if I did, it would show that I depend on what he thinks. That's not how I want to see him. Keeping something from him was a deal. It was a choice. I chose to keep a part of my life private, a part that he couldn't understand, yet I kept it that way for longer than I planned. Every time I thought about talking to him, I realized it would change things. I didn't know exactly how. That felt like a risk I wasn't ready to take. The secret itself was not dramatic in the way that secrets in stories tend to be dramatic. It was not a scandal or a betrayal or anything that would have produced the kind of response that dramatic secrets produce. It was more personal than that and more quiet. Something about the interior of my life that I had been navigating privately and that I knew would be different once he knew it, would be something we would have to figure out together rather than something I was figuring out alone. And the aloneness of it, while it was heavy, was also something I had become accustomed to and was not entirely ready to give up. When I finally told him, and I did eventually tell him, the response was not what I had been afraid of. It was not what I had been building in my head through all the months of deciding not to have the conversation. It was quieter and more understanding and more accepting than I had given him credit for, and I sat with the feeling of having spent all that time protecting something from a response that was never going to be as hard as I had imagined it would be. And I understood something about how much of the weight I had been carrying was self-generated, was fear of a conversation rather than the conversation itself, and that understanding, arriving late as it did, was one of the more significant things my relationship with my father has taught me, which is that he is more capable of meeting me where I am than I have always assumed. And I would have known that sooner if I had trusted the conversation earlier.